So welcome to the first podcast for the Pakistan Foundry Association. Start with none other than Sikandar Mustafa Khan Sahab.
Did my matriculation and that was from St. Anthony's School in Lahore, and I was very fond of playing tennis, so I was in the government college tennis team, and I had to shift from Lahore to Karachi.
Cool. So he really saw beyond the young boy who was adventurous enough to drive from UK to Pakistan back in those days.
Yes. The policeman who was sitting with us was begging us, please stop for a moment. I said, no.
You wanted to get out of there as soon as possible. A favorite singer, maybe from your younger days or?
Oh, I don't know really. We traveled for 1 month on road, and we traveled all over Europe and then into Turkey and then into Iran and back to Pakistan. Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif decided to privatize companies.
A machine that you admire, or a favorite machine, maybe from your college days or learning engineering days?
My worst part of it was, unfortunately, with Iran, and we now produce 90 to 95% parts locally.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to the first podcast for the Pakistan Foundry Association. We will inshallah be hosting a series of podcasts featuring different industry leaders who have played a key role in shaping the engineering sector of Pakistan, especially the foundry sector. We are delighted to start with none other than Sikandar Mustafa Khan Sahab, who has played an important role in shaping not only what we all see today as the agriculture mechanization sector of the country, but also what we all largely see as the light engineering sector, auto sector being a large part of it. Sikandar Sahab, of course, is a pioneering industrialist whose leadership is now looked at from many sectors, including education, industry, government policy. We all look up to him. We all look up to him for advice. And he started his career with Millat Tractors, which he then led to Millat Tractor, which led to becoming Millat Group, which not only is a large organization within the country, but has made its mark globally as well. So welcome to the first podcast for the Pakistan Foundry Association, an association for which you have played a very key role starting from the very beginning, and you actively take a leadership position in shaping the organization today as well. So the way I see it is that you've not only revolutionized the tractor industry in Pakistan, but also, more importantly, I think started it from scratch and laid a foundation for the light engineering sector in Pakistan, starting with shaping government policies to drive this sector, and then of course working tirelessly in developing the sector at large. So sir, we would like to, or at least I would like to start with how this journey started. We all know we started, we all know NED, we all know Newcastle, we know Imperial College London, but I think I'd like to start with, how was it before that? Your early childhood years, how were you as a child, some early childhood memories. So if you could start from there, please.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you, Fahad. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak with you and have it broadcasted. I think it's been a long journey. I am now almost 80, so I have a lot of good memories of the past, and I would like to share them with you because you've asked me to do that. You see, when I did my matriculation, and that was from St. Anthony's School in Lahore, which I enjoyed very much, and from there I moved on to the Grand Government College of Lahore, which was an institution which was internationally known and has a lot of background to it. My experience in Government College Lahore was very good in the sense that I was growing out from a young boy to a young man. And I was very fond of playing tennis, so I was in the Government College tennis team, which also became the undergraduate team of Lahore, and I was captain for it for some time. So tennis has been my great sport, which I've enjoyed very much. And after passing out from Government College Lahore in my FSc, which I didn't do very well, but nevertheless I managed to get myself into the NED Engineering College in Karachi at that time. And I had to shift from Lahore to Karachi,
of course,
which I was not very happy about because all my friends were here. I didn't know anybody in Karachi at that time. But my parents were very happy that I'm getting out of bad society into a good society. I will have a new group of friends in Karachi, and I was sure that things would be better. But 4 years in Karachi was a great experience. I lived with my brother-in-law, Salim Ahmed Khan, who was Security Printing Corporation chairman. And then I traveled by train every morning to go to my college, because either by car, by train, or by bus, which was a great experience. I mean, one has to rough it out in those years of life, and it's an experience. You get exposed to people, you get exposed to people whom you generally don't meet otherwise, and I think it taught me a lot of things. I think I learned from people whom I met on the buses, on the trains and whatnot, and I think it was a good experience. So after having done my engineering at NED, thank God I qualified well, and my aspirations were to go to America, or where all my other friends from the college were going. But somehow or the other, my parents were keen that I go to England, which was nearer and easy to go and travel. But before all that, I think I learned a few things from my father, who was getting on in age, and when I was getting older, he felt that I felt that I should go and be with him, because I could feel that he was going weaker, and that is the reason why I left. I finished NED and I went back to Lahore, and I got a job with Amiji Walaji and Sons as a sales and marketing guy. And it was another great experience for me. Marketing was not an engineering job, but because we were selling machinery, so they needed my expertise as an engineer. Yes. And my exposure to marketing was there. I learned things about marketing which I would not have learned had I gone into an engineering company and stayed there. And so I came to Lahore, and then after having gotten admission in Newcastle-on-Tyne, I went abroad to do a master's in production engineering, production technology, in fact. I did my postgraduate diploma in production technology, and it was my ambition to study in a college like Imperial College in London, because it was internationally known. And one of the top universities of the world.
Of course.
So when I got admission over there, I was really very happy. And Dr. Professor Salam was also teaching to students in Imperial College at that time. I had the pleasure of meeting him and paying my respects to him. So it was very exciting. So after Newcastle-on-Tyne and Imperial College, I decided to come back home. And I traveled from London to Pakistan by road with a friend of mine,
Wow.
And we traveled for 1 month. We traveled for 1 month on road, and we traveled all over Europe and then into Turkey and then into Iran and back to Pakistan. So it was a pleasure to be back home and to be able to lead my life in Pakistan, because I had no real desire to live abroad. I wanted to be home, and I wanted to come back home and serve my country also. My first opportunity I got was that I managed to get a job at Naya Daur Industries, which was owned by Kandawalas at that time. And I think it was the best engineering industry at that time. It had a machine shop, it had a press shop, and American Motors assembly plant where we were assembling the CJ5 Jeep.
Okay.
Now that was a good experience, and I learnt a lot of there. Both my seniors were Parsis, and they were really technically very clued up, and I learned a lot from them, which I'm grateful for. But having stayed there for a year or two, I felt that my father needed me in Lahore, and I got myself transferred to Millat Tractors.
Okay.
And this was, I think, in 1978. Millat Tractors at that time was considered to be one of the worst companies in the automotive sector. It was under the Tractor Corporation of Karachi and was being managed remotely from Karachi. And we had a chief executive who was here, and we had a labor union, which I must say I learned a lot from them, because they were very rude, very bad, and they would literally abuse the chief executive and things like that. But fortunately, you asked who could be my mentor. Mentor was Ehsanullah Khan. He was a bureaucrat. He was in the Ministry of Production. And he got himself transferred. And he discussed with me, he said, it will be good to come to Millat. I said, it will be very good. So he, being in Ministry of Production, he got himself transferred to Lahore. His family was here. And he became the chief executive of Millat Tractors. That is where the greatness of this man helped me in development of the engineering industry in Pakistan. I couldn't have done it on my own. He supported me fully, and he said, you go ahead and do the localization. At that time, the Ministry of Production had directions that we should do about 70% parts locally in 5 years' time, and which was a great challenge. But I think he supported me in the sense that you go ahead and do something. So I started hiring people in Millat Tractors to be able to create a team, because I knew for sure that I can't do it on my own. I have to have a team of people around me, with me, who will sincerely devote their efforts in what I want to do. And what I wanted to do was develop the Massey Ferguson tractor, which was being assembled in Millat Tractors, and develop all its parts locally. So I got hold of my people, inducted our people who started helping me, and we started localization. And this is where things like Pakistan Foundry Association started taking place. That, we were indigenizing, and industries were being developed, both in the foundry sector and in the other engineering sectors. And these industries could not have come up without the support of our principals, Massey Ferguson. I was very fortunate that Massey Ferguson at that time was also willing to give us the helping hand of developing this industry, which what we wanted in Pakistan. I hope I'm not taking too much time.
No.
So, so we started localizing, and we sent our boys for training to Massey Ferguson, which was a British company at that time, located in Coventry in England. And we would send our boys there regularly, and we would invite their team of people to come to Pakistan and support us and help us in the development. At that time, we were assembling 24 tractors a day, and that was assembly from semi-knockdown positions. With most of the parts were bought and assembled, and they were then put together here, and we would assemble a tractor. But then we thought, this is not it. We decided we have to have an engine assembly plant to begin with. With an engine assembly plant, we could start localizing the engine parts. So the first thing we did was develop an engine assembly plant. Now this engine assembly plant was developed by the help of our principal, Perkins Engines. It's a world-renowned company. They supported us, and we made the engine assembly plant. Then we decided that, look, 24 engines a day is not what we want. There was a great demand for tractors, because mechanization was taking place in Pakistan, and tractor was the prime mover for doing all the mechanization of bringing in farm machinery into Pakistan. So we went and developed an assembly plant which had the capacity to do 100 tractors a day instead of 24 tractors. And so this new plant was developed. This assembly plant became functional. I can't exactly remember which year it was, but it became functional, and we were producing. And I must compliment General Saeed Qadir, who supported us in the development of this in the public sector, because we were in the public sector. And then after that, Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif decided to privatize companies. And this gave us an opportunity, again, God-sent gift, that they would allow employee buyouts. So we said, let us make a bid, because they were asking for bids for these companies, all public sector companies, and there were several people who were interested to buy out Millat Tractors, including the previous owners, Rana Khudadad Khan and Naeem Rana. But I think it was with the help of Saeed Qadir that they said, no employee buyout. We tried to induct the family in that, but somehow they were not able to raise the finances that were required, because we had to pledge all our provident funds, gratuity, to get the funds from banks to buy. Yes. And here I will have to mention the name of Mia Mancha. It was one day that I was sitting in the airport in deep thought when I knew him. He came and said, what's wrong with you? Oh, you got a gloomy face. I said, well, we are trying to bid for this company, Millat Tractors, and I don't have the funds. He said, okay. So he wrote a little note to the, I think, MCB, Muslim Commercial Bank. And the next day we got the funds. And that is how it started. We were so lucky that I bumped into a gentleman, Mia Mancha, who organized the finances for it for me in no time at all. And I told my friends whom we had inducted, with Suhail Bashir Rana and Laik Ansari and Hashmi Allah Bakshe usko and Mia Salim, our company secretary. I said, it's done. So we made a bid, and with the help of General Saeed Qadir at that time, we were privatized in 1991. And since that time, we've been in the private sector. So we're no longer in the public sector. So it's a long story, but it's a very interesting one, because I think there are very few employee buyouts that have been as successful as Millat Tractors.
Of course.
But I think my success and my main and important thing that we were able to do was the localization. And we now produce 90 to 95% parts locally, which is phenomenal. We have more than 200 vending industry making parts for us. We have at least 200,000 people associated with this whole operation. So I'm happy about that, but not fully satisfied, because my intention was not just to be able to make the tractor locally. My intention is to start export of tractors from Pakistan. And export of tractors is my lifelong desire, so to speak. So we have now approached our principals, who have now moved from UK, and they have now moved on to USA. They are now in Duluth, in Atlanta, Georgia, and we have agreed with them. They have in fact said that yes, okay, you can start exporting. So they've given us certain countries like Mexico, that you export to Mexico under their brand name, and they've also allowed us to export in Africa. Whether we do it on our name or in their name, we have to finalize that for the time being. But this is my desire, that we should be able to export tractors from Pakistan in built-up or semi-knocked down condition. I had the opportunity, I have friends in Dubai who helped us sell 2,500 tractors in Angola, which we did in semi-knocked down condition. We developed an assembly plant there from PKD condition, which is operational even now, and we were able to export 2,500 tractors for the first time. Now we are trying to move into Africa. We are trying to see if we can go to Nigeria or some of the other African countries, because producing tractors for the local market is all right, but we have to compete with the global market, particularly our neighbors. And I am very happy to say that we are producing a tractor which is cheaper than anywhere else in the world, whether it is our neighbors or any other country. So that is what is the important thing. This is the importance of our local industry. They have been able to produce parts which are cheaper than anywhere else in the world, and therefore the most economically priced tractor is produced in Millat Tractors. So we are now, that is our focus. We are trying to move in that direction, and we're trying to see if we can somehow start getting into the export market. We have started exporting. We have exported some to Mexico, we've exported some to other countries in the Middle East, etc. So this is a long journey, but I think we are getting there. And the day we start exporting hundreds of tractors abroad will be the day that I will feel that my mission is now complete. Thank you for the opportunity.
So it seems like that, this is a journey that started more with fate, with you moving to Lahore, keeping your father's health in view, or your time with the family. But the way you've narrated this journey, I have a feeling that very soon it became more of a passion project for you.
Yes.
And in the process, I'm sure there were many sacrifices that were made, personally, family, time, etc. Now that you look back at it, was it all worth it?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I think this journey was very, very useful for me and for my country.
Of course.
Because I think the automotive sector now has the opportunity to go to vendors who are able to produce parts, critical parts like the crown wheel pinion, the machining of engine blocks, casting of engine blocks and heads, which are the most difficult parts of an automobile and a tractor. So they have the opportunity to go to vendors, and they have to develop vendors to produce parts what they require. And it has to be an effort from the assembler. Once he does that, then I'm sure he can move on.
You've mentioned Ihsanullah Khan Sahab as your mentor. Would it be safe to say that that's where you got your leadership skills purely from, or was it more of a technical mentorship or more of a leadership mentorship?
I think Ihsanullah Khan was a fantastic man, in my opinion. He had faith in me, and I think he probably felt that I had the capacity to do what we should be doing. Yes. And so he gave me a free hand. He gave me support. He gave me full support, which at that young age, it was necessary for me. If he didn't give me that support, I would probably not have taken the initiative of going through all these things. He was not an engineer. He was a bureaucrat. And he was in Ministry of Production because of his bureaucratic background. And he decided to come to Millat Tractors as the chief executive. And I think it was very lucky for me to have him as my boss. So I have great regards for him.
So we from what I know and understand, we see a lot of similar qualities in your leadership style as well, giving a lot of free hand, a lot of room for people to expand and explore and do things on their own.
I guess I've learned this from him, yes.
Anything else, maybe in terms of your leadership style, you'd like to relate to from your early days, something that must have influenced it, maybe your international education at a very early stage? Or
I think it was important for me to get training abroad from various institutions. I was sent to Switzerland to go and study leadership development programs, and several other universities, and Ihsanullah Khan was responsible for that. He sent me abroad. He said, go get yourself trained, because you need to know the future development processes that should be there. So by going abroad gave me the confidence, and it gave me the knowledge to try out things over here. So that is why I think it's very important that going abroad, and though I did my master's in England, in London, but even then, in the practical side, I went to different institutions, the International Management Institute in Geneva. It was a very good institute where I met a lot of people. That's the important thing. You see, I met people from different parts of the world, different experiences, and I got exposed to all that.
Of course.
Gave me the confidence, and I got to know people whom I would have never met had I not gone there. So these are the things which help. I was sent to Colorado in the Springfield, where again I met people and foreign teachers and whatnot. So these are exposures which I think is important for all our young engineers and accountants and others to utilize. Go abroad, meet people, interact with them, which gives you the confidence to go anywhere in the world and do things.
So he really saw beyond the young boy who was adventurous enough to drive from UK to Pakistan back in those days.
Yes. Well, that drive from UK to Pakistan was an experience also. My worst part of it was, unfortunately, with Iran, where we got stuck. I did not have a carnet de passage, which was a document required to take a car inside Iran at that time. So they put a policeman in my car with my friend, and he had to travel from one end of Iran to the other end.
Well, you got lucky. They allowed you to go through even with the policeman.
Yeah, they would have asked me to go via Russia, but I came through, and we had no desire to stop anywhere in Iran. So we drove from one end to the other end, non-stop. The policeman who was sitting with us was begging us, please stop for a while. I said, no.
You wanted to get out of there as soon as possible.
So that was a good experience. And when I got to Pakistan, my parents were there to receive me, which I was meeting after 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
Nowadays, children come every 6 months to see.
Things were very different back then.
I hadn't come home for 4 or 5 years. Wow. And having seen my parents there after so many years, which was fantastic.
I'm sure. I'm sure. It's the Foundry Association, it's Millat Tractors, but we see you being very active in many other leadership positions as well, especially the education sector. You're very active. Back in the days, the vocational training side of things, you've again transformed, at that time, that entire landscape. So if you could just share a little about your own leadership philosophy, how, we've seen that you take on to these projects that really need to be built from scratch. and then you put a lot of hard work into them.
Yes, excuse me. So, actually, I think this opportunity was given to me by our current Prime Minister, Shahbaz Sharif. And he used to have meetings of industries. And at that time, there was no proper technical education available for youngsters in Pakistan. So he directed me to start opening schools. And in that he asked me to develop Pakistan Technical Education and Vocational Training Authority. So I got the ordinance prepared. I wasn't a legal guy, but then we had the support of some legal people and we developed the ordinance, and then we got it approved from the government in the formal way, and which was in fact started by Pakistan Vocational Training Council. This was to utilize funds from zakat, etc., from the government, and open schools for students who were not able to afford the education. So Pakistan Vocational Training Council was created, and then we moved on to go to Technical Education Vocational Training Authority. And these were institutions which are still running, which are still in operation, and they are operating schools. And the principle of this was that I would open a school in a district, and I would get the top leaders of the business community as the members of the board, so that they would look after the schools and follow them. And so we were not centralized that everything will be controlled in Lahore. It was distributed to every district. Every district had its own board, had its own members of the board from that district who would manage the schools and make sure that they are operational in a proper manner. Unfortunately, when after 8 or 9 years of being in chairman of TAFTA and PVTC, when I requested Shahbaz Sahab ki ji, I think he had changed by that, somebody else was there, that please relieve me now, 8 years is long enough. So I retired from there, and a bureaucrat took over, the chairman of PVTC and TAFTA. And the first thing he did was he disbanded all the boards, district boards. Anyway, but I'm happy. It's still operational. It's still managing, being run. And I hope it carries on and makes further improvements.
So again, a very typical reflection of your leadership style, not keeping things central, decentralizing everything.
Yes.
But when it got changed, things perhaps did not. But no, so I think it's still the schools, the structure, the basic structure that's there. It's still a very meaningful way to spend the zakat funds and actually get people employment and जिसको कहते हैं पैरों पे खड़े करने के लिए it's very very important. So moving forward, a lot of people of course regard you as their mentor. A lot of them. I know the same goes surely for my father, and from him, a lot towards me as well. What would be some advice for the young generation today, or the youth today, for them to build something meaningful, do something impactful today?
Well, I think we've been together, your father and I have been together for years and years now, mashallah. And we've done a lot of work together, and we've both grown. And I think my only guidance that I can give to youngsters today is that whatever you do, do with devotion.
Absolutely.
And if you are dedicated in doing things, you are certainly going to make an impact wherever you go. And our youngsters have a lot of potential. We are very intelligent people, and I think we can do far more than what we have done so far. And I think there are opportunities that are there, and there are more opportunities going to come. So please devote yourself to whatever you do in a sincere, dedicated manner, and we will be successful, inshallah.
So, sir, there is then, of course, devotion, passion, emotion is very important. But generally, we've seen that to build successful businesses, there is always then a fine line that one has to put between emotion and some key principle decisions for a successful business. So, some of the other key principle business decisions or things that you actually follow or feel are very important for anybody to run a successful business, because emotions do sometimes blind people in doing so.
I think your questions are now becoming more difficult, but nevertheless I will try and answer it. I think teamwork is very critical. If you develop a team around you and they are also dedicated, you will be successful. So it's not an independent, one man's job. No one man can do any of these things. And you always have to collect a good team, a team of people who are sincere and dedicated, and you will be successful. Don't try and do it alone.
So teamwork is key.
Absolutely.
So, sir, you've where we are today, or where you are today, you've briefly mentioned about a passion project of, let's suppose, exporting tractors from Pakistan. Is that the next big dream, or is there something else that you would also like to do while doing that? Because you do multiple things.
I would dedicatedly try and do the export. And we have taken the first step that we have talked to our principals, and we've got permission from them to start exporting under their brand name, not everywhere, but in selected places. And hopefully we will start expanding that number of countries, so that we have an opportunity. Our principals also realize that we have the opportunity because of our prices and the quality of our product. And we have started doing that. We are sending tractors to Mexico, as I said earlier. And we will now start going to Africa, because it's a big market.
It's a big market.
And I think we have the opportunity to go to various African countries and try and see how we can export there. Because the country needs foreign exchange. And textiles is very good to export textiles, but value-added products like tractors and cars and automobiles, these are the things that we have got to try and get into, because just textiles will not get us anywhere. We will need products like tractors to go abroad.
And I think that's really what our country really needs in terms of export, a value-added product, engaging labor on one side, and then of course bringing more revenue on the other side.
Absolutely.
Perfect. So, sir, I'll make things very easy now. We have in the end a very quick rapid fire round, as they say, touching a little upon your own personal or your personality. So the first one is very easy: tea or coffee? What's your preference?
Tea.
Okay. A machine that you admire, or a favorite machine that was made, or something that you admire?
Well,
maybe from your college days or learning engineering days.
Oh, that's a difficult one. Well, I don't know really. I think develiment of tractor and automobile is...
So driving, maybe the engine then.
Yes, engine, yes, is a very interesting one, because it has a lot of technologies associated with it. Yes, sure.
Okay. And so we all know your passion for music.
Oh yes, oh yes.
So a favorite song or a song that you feel describes your journey best.
I can't sing at all, nor can I dance very much, but I enjoy watching our neighbors' movies on television and the music that they play, which is very good. But I think we have our own musicians also who are very good. But
so favorite singer, sir? Maybe any? A favorite singer, maybe from your younger days or?
Oh, I don't know really. There have been so many of them.
So
many of them that, you know,
Good.
it's difficult to be pinpointing.
One word that your colleagues would use for you?
Too stubborn, I think.
Too stubborn. But we see a lot of flexibility. But it's maybe some of those harsh decisions that one needs to make that makes them say that. And in the end, sir, what makes you a proud Pakistani?
I think there is so much potential in this country. There is so much intelligence in this country. And I think if we have some good leadership to really channelize the intelligence and the efforts of our young people, we can do a lot more than what we are doing now. Unfortunately, I may be critical, but I think there is too much potential in this country which is not being used. It's going to waste.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you so much for your time. I'm so glad that the first episode started with you. And you know, there are of course many more to come for our viewers. But I'll be honest, I really thoroughly enjoyed the passion with which you narrated your life journey. Sitting across the table, I could of course feel it. I'll be honest, there were moments when I had goosebumps hearing about it, so I'm sure it brought back a lot of old memories for you as well. But thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you, Had. Thank you for this opportunity to talk on behalf of Pakistan Foundry Association and the automobile sector and Millat Tractors. And it's an opportunity that you provided, and I'm grateful. Thank you for that.